Hello guys, Softony here, and in today's tutorial I will be showing you how to create a professional podcast intro in After Effects. Whether you're launching a new show or upgrading your existing visuals, this intro will give your podcast a modern and engaging look. So if you found this tutorial helpful, drop a like, subscribe and leave me a comment below with your thoughts or requests for the future tutorials. And now let's dive into the After Effects and get started. Alright, we're here in After Effects, and as always, let's first create new comp, hit here or on this little icon, and this is gonna be final composition like usual. Of course, you can type here whatever you want, and this is gonna be full HD and duration 10 seconds long. Hit OK, and now let's create another one, hit here, and this is gonna be Media 01, and for the duration, I will do maybe around 2 seconds. Hit OK, and as you can see, I have this videos folder here in the project window. You will of course import your own media, your own footage, just drag and drop. Hit S if you need to readjust it here inside the Media 01 composition. And let's also create our text. Hit Ctrl+T or go hit on this little icon, horizontal type tool, and I'll just type random text, podcast. I'm using this Bebas Snow font. This is also free font from dafont.com. Okay, let's align it to the center. Somewhere around here. If you can't find this option, go to Window and you will find Align here. Now let's select this podcast, go here inside the effects and presets. I will type drop shadow effect, drag and drop on top of our text. And here let's leave this drop shadow effect as it is. Let's hit Ctrl+D to duplicate once. And for the distance, let's go 0, and for the softness 100. And now as you can see, we have these cool looking drop shadows in our Media 01. Now it's also time to animate this podcast text. Open up this little triangle, go on animate and find here opacity. Okay, open up this range selector 1, and before that lower down opacity to 0%, and for the start I will type 100, and also for the end I will go 0. Now here at 0 frames, let's animate offset, set up the first keyframe, and I will go -100. Now let's go all the way to around 1 second or so and type 100. Now let's hit 0, and this is gonna be our podcast text animation. Okay, now let's close this Media 01 and let's find it here inside the project window and drag and drop this Media 01 in our final comp. And let's also pre-compose, go right click and find here pre-compose option, and this is gonna be part 01, and make sure to select the second option, move all attributes into the new composition and then hit OK. Now let's also create transition, go right click to create new solid layer, and this is gonna be TR for transition, also full HD, and then hit OK. Now let's hit S for our transition solid layer, uncheck this option constrain proportion, and let's animate X parameter. Set up the first keyframe for the scale, and let's lower it down to 0 here at 0 seconds, and let's go maybe to around 20 frames or so, somewhere around here. Okay, and for the second keyframe I will type 100. Now select both of the keyframes, hit F9 on your keyboard and go inside the graph editor. If you can find this curve, go right click and you will find edit speed graph here. And now let's draw a curve like this one. Okay, and now when we hit 0, this is gonna be our transition. And for the next step, let's go for the track matte, find here alpha matte for our part 1 and transition. Okay, and if you can't find it, hit here toggle switches and modes. And now when we hit 0, this is gonna be our transition. Now let's also select this part 01 and transition, go right click, and then let's pre-compose once again. And this is gonna be transition 01, select this also second option, and then hit OK. Now let's duplicate this transition 01, hit Ctrl+D, and this upper one move to maybe 2 frames ahead, and for the lower one select it and go here inside the effects and presets. I will find fill effect. Drag and drop onto our lower one. Okay, change color to whatever you want, maybe to use eyedropper. And now when we hit 0, this is gonna be our cool looking animation. What we can do also, go inside this transition 01, and here inside this transition 01, hit S for scaling for the part 01 and set up the first keyframe here at 0 seconds, and I will do 110. Then let's go to around 2 seconds and I will type 100. And now when we hit 0, we will also have this animation of our media. Alright, now let's go back here inside the final composition And as you can see, we have this transition 01, upper and lower one. Now select it again, go right click and let's pre-compose it once again. And this is gonna be slide 01. Hit OK, and now let's create slide 02. Go here inside the project window, but before that let's hit Ctrl+D for the slide 01. And here inside the final comp, I will do for this upper one, maybe to 1 second or 1 second and 10 frames, like so. Now let's also duplicate here inside the project window this slide 01, hit Ctrl+D, and this slide 02, let's import in our final composition. Just hold Alt or Option on your keyboard and drag and drop on top of this slide 01. Go inside this new composition, also select this transition 01, now let's hit Ctrl+D, and also repeat everything, hold Alt or Option, and also let's go inside here, also for the part 01, hit Ctrl+D, duplicate it, hold Alt, and also let's go inside this new part 02 composition and repeat with also media composition. Hit Ctrl+D, rename it if you need, this is gonna be media 02, hold Alt or Option, and now we are free to change this footage in our media 02 composition. Now just you can delete this media 01 composition and go inside your videos folder and drag and drop your new media. And let's also change our text. I will type random one. This is gonna be intro. Okay, and now when we go back in our final composition, this is gonna be our first slide and our second slide, and this is looking great. Also, what we can do inside this slide 02 composition, let's open it up again, go here also inside the transition, and for this TR solid layer, hit S for scaling, and also we can do opposite animation. Let's type here at 0 seconds for this first keyframe, for this X parameter 100, and also let's type for the Y parameter here 0, and now let's hit 0, we will have an animation like this one. Now let's grab again keyframes, go here inside the graph editor, and let's draw a curve like before. Okay, and now let's go back in our final composition, hit 0, and this is looking great. Now we can also create here slide 03, let's duplicate this slide 02, and this upper one move to around maybe 2 seconds and 10 frames or 20 frames, it's up to you to play around. And let's repeat everything here inside the project window. Let's duplicate this slide 02, now we have slide 03, hold Alt and drag and drop. Go inside here and just select transition 2, let's duplicate this transition 2 and hold Alt or Option, drag and drop. And let's also repeat for the part 02, find here, duplicate, drag and drop. And also let's change this media, duplicate this media too, rename it if you need, this is gonna be media 03. And also repeat everything, just drag and drop while you're holding Alt on your keyboard. And now let's go inside this media 03, change this media 02, also drag and drop your own media 03, and also let's delete this media 02. And I will change text, this is gonna be just random one, softoni, okay. And let's also go back in our final composition. This is gonna be first slide, second one, and third one. Let's also create another transition here inside the slide 02, go inside this transition tree, and also let's change the R, hit S for scaling. Now let's click on this stopwatch to turn off the keyframes for the scale parameter. Let's type 100 for the Y parameter, and let's also turn on this option, constrain proportions, and now we will animate scale. But before that, let's also rotate our transition solid layer. I will turn it on for now, hit R for rotation, I will go 45. Okay, now we have solid layer like this one, hit S once again, and for this first keyframe I will type 0, okay, set up the first keyframe for the scale parameter. Now let's go to around 20 frames, and I will type 200. And as you can see, this is gonna be our animation. Now select both of the keyframes, go right click, keyframe assistance, find here easy ease. Now let's select them again, go inside the graph editor and draw the curve like before. Okay, and now let's also find here alpha matte, okay, and turn off visibility of our transition. Let's hit 0, and this is gonna be our transition. And now let's go back in the final comp, let's hit 0, slide 01, second one, and third one. And this looks great. Alright guys, this is the way so you can easily create as many slides as you want. Just play around with this technique until you're satisfied with your own final results. You can also import here more effects, also adjustment layers, decorations, light flicks, and so many more. And that was everything for today's tutorial. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, and also if you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button, and also take a look at my channel for even more great tutorials. Also, all the links are in the description, and until next time, stay creative and bye bye!